This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, May the 18th, coming to you from Limassol, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Trump's announcement via Truth Social that there will be a phone call tomorrow between US President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. And after the phone call with Putin, according to Trump's post on Truth Social, there will be a call with Alinski. And then Trump is going to get on a group phone call with Alinski and NATO leaders. That is going to be what is going to happen tomorrow, Monday. That's the plan. First call Putin, talk about Project Ukraine, ending the conflict in Ukraine, according to Trump. And they're also going to talk about trade, and then call Churchill number 2, and then get on a group call with Churchill number 2 and NATO European leaders, I imagine Macron and Stalmer and Merz, maybe Tusk, the 4+1 format. And we're going to get one step closer to a summit, to a meeting between Trump and Putin. Though I imagine the European leaders and Zelensky are going to do everything in their power to convince Trump not to meet face to face with Putin, because a Trump-Putin meeting is their worst fear. Bilateral talks between the US president and the Russian president, that is what the Europeans and Alinski have been trying to prevent. But we are one step closer to actually getting that summit. The Trump administration, they said that they want that meeting quickly. At least US President Trump has said that he wants that meeting with Vladimir Putin in the next couple of weeks. That is what he is hoping for. We will see if something like that can happen in a couple of weeks, putting together that high level of a summit, the US president and the Russian president. I imagine Turkey, Saudi Arabia, they could probably put something together on short notice for these two world leaders. I'm going to read you what Trump posted on Truth Social. Let me just make my way over there, and then I'll read you what he said. It's like a nice neighborhood. It would be nice to live here, huh? All right, let's read you what Trump said. Oh man. Wow. All right, Trump, he posted on Truth, I will be speaking by telephone to President Vladimir Putin of Russia on Monday at a.m. The subjects of the call will be stopping the bloodbath that is killing, on average, more than 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week, and trade. I will then be speaking to President Alinski of Ukraine, and then with President Alinski, various members of NATO. Hopefully, it will be a productive day. A ceasefire will take place, and this very violent war, a war that should have never happened, will end. God bless us all. So Putin is going to, when they talk, I imagine that Putin is going to remain firm on Russia's terms. I can't see Putin or Russia making any concessions when he speaks with Trump. Though I would guess that Trump is going to probably try to convince the Russian president for a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. But I imagine Putin is going to explain the reality of the situation. And he is going to tell the US president what his negotiating team pretty much said in Istanbul, which is accept Istanbul Plus, June 2024, or else the 4 regions will become 8. I don't see Putin moving 1 inch from Russia's position, and no way do I see the Russian president accepting a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. I just don't see that happening. Let's go up like that. I want to make my way to a cave, which is down this way. But man, it is hot. I'm melting. I am melting, and I think I still have a good 5-minute, 10-minute walk, and it's uphill. Well, now it's downhill. All right, it was uphill. Now we're going downhill, thank God. So Rubio, he posted on X after he had a phone call with the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, of which the United States initiated. That's important. The US initiated the phone call, but Rubio posted on X, in my phone call today with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, I reiterated POTUS's message: the death and destruction must stop. The US has presented a strong peace plan, and we welcome the prisoner of war exchange agreement reached in Istanbul. Let's not miss this huge opportunity. The time for ending this war is now. How you doing, my friend? You got the right idea, hanging out in the shade. Cat is a lot smarter than I am, that's for sure. So Rubio, he's on board with the Kellogg freeze plan, 30-day unconditional ceasefire plan. Rubio is signed up to that. He's aligned with Kellogg. He's aligned with the Europeans. And when he says, oh, we're here. I think we're here. And when he says that the time for ending this war is now, what Rubio actually means is that the time to get a 30-day ceasefire so that Ukraine can get some time and space to rebuild its forces is now. That is what Rubio really means with this post on X. So that's Rubio. Rubio also told the media in the U.S., he said that the U.S. would examine ceasefire proposals from both Russia and Ukraine. If those papers have ideas on them that are realistic and rational, then I think we know we've made progress, he said. So that's what he was telling one of the mainstream media talk shows. The U.S. is the mediator, everybody. Rubio is saying, we're the mediator in all of this. We're the mediator. We had nothing to do with any of this. We're just trying to mediate a peace agreement. We'll take a look at Russia's ceasefire proposal. We'll take a look at Ukraine's ceasefire proposal, and we'll see if there's anything in there that we can work with. Ukraine's ceasefire proposal is Kellogg's plan, Rubio, the plan that you are pushing. That is Ukraine's 30-day unconditional ceasefire proposal. What do you mean you're going to take a look at it and see if there's anything in there that you can work with? And as far as the Russian proposal goes, well, You know what the Russian proposal is. It's been out there for almost a year now. Istanbul Plus, June 2024, root causes. They're playing the part of mediator. We know what's going on here. So that's Rubio. That is what he posted. And before we go into this cave, this church cave, see what it's like inside. Rubio is in Rome. I don't know if you guys can read that. I can barely read that. Three-aisled early Christian basilica, 5th, 6th centuries AD. So this was a basilica. I don't know, can you guys picture it? I think I can picture it, I guess, from these ruins, that this was a basilica once upon a time. So he's in Rome, and so is J.D. Vance. And today they're going to be attending the Pope's first Mass, his inaugural Mass. And you know who else was invited to this event? Take a wild guess. Just take a wild guess. Alinski. That's right. Alinski is also in Rome. So you think Alinski's going to be meeting with Rubio? So far, Alinski has met with Carney of Canada. He held a meeting with the new early Christian monastery complex, 5th and 7th century AD. He had a meeting with Carney. Carney said that Canada supports Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that they tell Alinski, that's pretty much what Carney said. Pretty much the same things that Trudeau told Alinski, but without the hugging and the touchy-feelies. That's pretty much what Carney told Alinski. That was the meeting between the Canadian Prime Minister and Alinski. Same rhetoric, same message, but less hugging and touching with Alinski. Carney is not the touchy-feely type of guy that Trudeau was. But he met with, Alinski met with Carney. So far, we haven't had a meeting between Alinski and Rubio, at least not public on the record, but come on. Rubio must be meeting with Alinski in Rome. A lot of stuff happening in Rome at the Vatican, huh? The Vatican seems to be a place where all of a sudden decisions are made, right? Trump at the funeral of Pope Francis sitting down with Alinski. That seems to be a pivotal moment when Trump decided that he's going to go full in on the Kellogg 30-day ceasefire plan after speaking with Churchill number 2 for 15 minutes. That was at the Vatican, and now here we are again. Alinski back in Rome, and Vance is in Rome, but Vance does not like Alinski. I wish Trump would listen to Vance more often, but Vance does not like Alinski. But Rubio's on the Alinski, he's on the Alinski train, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. He's on board on the Alinski train. So I would not be surprised if Rubio holds a meeting with Alinski and they coordinate the next moves before tomorrow's call with Trump, and they're going to do everything in their power to prevent a Trump-Putin summit. But man, we need a Trump-Putin summit. Not that it's going to solve anything right away, but if there's anybody that can sit down with Trump and tell him what's really happening in Ukraine, and I think Trump is going to listen, because he's probably been getting a lot of misinformation. He's been getting information from one side. It's President Putin. They need to sit down together, and you know what? Trump is going to need to tell Alinski and the Europeans, look, guys, I spoke with Putin. I had a meeting with Putin, and the situation, as we all know, is not good for you guys, and Russia's going to go on the offensive soon, and the 4 regions are going to turn to 8. So take the deal. We need to take Istanbul plus. Of course, the reverse can happen. And who knows, maybe they sabotage the meeting between Trump and Putin. Maybe they get to Trump after he has a meeting with Putin, I don't know, and they convince Trump to go full in on sanctions. Maybe Trump tries to convince Putin for ceasefire, the 30-day unconditional ceasefire. Maybe he remains firm on that position, in which case more escalation, sanctions against Russia, and this thing does not end. Anyway, let's go into the cave. It's amazing. Yes. Am I still recording? Ooh, hot. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about a New York Times article that came out yesterday, where the New York Times interviews 11 Russian servicemen in the Russian military fighting in the conflict. The New York Times interviews these 11 military servicemen. And I think the New York Times, what they were expecting in this interview, they claim that they interviewed these these servicemen. I believe them. I think what they were expecting to hear from them was that they want the conflict to end ASAP, and they would definitely tell their president to accept a ceasefire, a 30-day ceasefire, because they're tired and they would like the conflict to wrap up. I think that's what the New York Times was expecting. It didn't get that. It didn't get that. And the New York Times, when you read this article, you can tell that the New York Times was a bit upset that they didn't get the response that they were hoping for. The servicemen, what they did say is that, yeah, they are tired. Understandable, obviously. They're tired. It's exhausting fighting this conflict. It's a very difficult situation that they find themselves in. But the servicemen, according to the New York Times, they said that they will continue to fight until the goals of the special military operation are completed. And they support their president and their country. And if they stop before they achieve the goals of the special military operation, then they said, what was this all for? And then the article, once they got the statements from the servicemen and it didn't go the way I think the New York Times was hoping it was going to go, then the New York Times started to talk about the Russian war economy, which is in trouble, and the Russian military, which is overstretched, and has been fighting pretty much a stalemate, and they just start talking about all the things that the collective West media talks about when it comes to the conflict in Ukraine. You could tell the New York Times did not like what the servicemen told them. Russian troops are war weary but want to conquer more of Ukraine. Many Russian soldiers say they would see a ceasefire along the current front lines as a failure, hinting at the nationalist discontent the Kremlin could face in accepting a ceasefire. One of the servicemen said, "We want to take all the regions so that in the future we won't have to fight for them. Otherwise, all the guys died in vain." One of the mobilized soldiers, named Sergei, told the New York Times. So there you have it. From the men fighting in this conflict, at least 11 of them fighting in this conflict, saying that they want to see this through. Yes, they are tired. Yes, it's difficult, but they want to see this to its conclusion. So Liberation Day, the tariff Liberation Day, seems to be over, everybody. And it is ending not with a bang, but with a whimper. We are getting the news that the Trump administration, they do not have the time to get into negotiations with 150 countries. And so what they're going to do when it comes to the tariffs is they are going to send a letter to the countries to let them know. Probably better to walk on that side, huh? I might get smashed by a car or something. Better to let the countries know via letter what the tariffs are going to be, and that'll be that. That's Liberation Day for you, everyone. In the form of a letter. Your tariff is 10% plus another 10%, and there you go. That's the end of it. Trump posted on Truth Social about Walmart. He said that Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching. And so will your customers. I'll be watching you. Every step you take, every tariff you break, every move you make, I'll be watching you. Yeah, I don't know if capitalism works like that. I don't know if Walmart's going to be too happy with eating the profits. Walmart does make a crap load of profits, but we all know how these big multinational corporations are. As Gordon Gekko once said, greed is good. Isn't that what he said in Wall Street? Too much profits is never enough. Profits are never enough. The more, the better for these companies. But anyway, that's Trump's message. Don't raise prices. Eat the tariffs. We'll see if Walmart agrees to this. Biden and his audio was leaked by Axios. The interview with Ben-Hur, not Ben-Hur. Though I wouldn't be surprised if Biden once upon a time had an interview with Ben-Hur, but Richard Hur. Remember that story when Biden was president? The interview with Richard Hur, and then Richard Hur testified to Congress, and he painted a picture of a Biden that was confused and forgetting all kinds of facts and dates about his family, connected to his family. And Richard Hur I'm going to have to cross again. Found this alarming, but nothing really came out of it, at least for Biden's presidency. Well, I guess you could say that Biden was eventually coup d'etat by his best buddy Obama and Pelosi and Schumer and the Clintons. But we got the audio leak now of that interview, and it's not pretty. It's as you would expect it to be. Axios leaked the interview audio from special counsel Robert. I said Richard Hur. Robert Hur. Robert Hur. Oh man, Alex, the sun is getting to me. Robert Hur's interview with Biden has been released. It's devastating. Biden sounds confused, repeatedly unsure of basic facts and timelines. It's clear he wasn't mentally present. So I listened to the audio, and it's nothing shocking, to be quite honest. It's Biden just not remembering anything, really. He doesn't remember anything. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. Amazing that he was president. Amazing that the media covered up for him for 4 years. And what's even more interesting is that the media is now more than ready to throw him under the bus, to discard him, to embarrass him, which is exactly what they're doing, and that's why they leaked this audio. So Syria is back on SWIFT. That was announced yesterday. Syria will now be connected to SWIFT. A good thing for the economy of Syria. And all it took to go back on SWIFT is to have Al-Qaeda, HTS head shoppers to take over your government. That's all it takes to get connected to SWIFT. All you need to do to get connected to SWIFT, if you've been taken off, is to have Al-Qaeda take over your government. There you have it, everybody. The values of the collective West. Collective West values. SWIFT values, everyone. What else? What else? Should we talk about Stalmer? Oh boy, I don't know. Stalmer. Ukrainian, according to the New York Times, Ukrainian appears in court over fires at properties linked to UK Prime Minister Roman Lavrinovich, 21, was charged with committing arson at 2 properties and a car with connections to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Something is up with Stalmer. I've read some articles talking about this young 21-year-old Ukrainian and his background. I won't get into it in this video. A lot of allegations, a lot of rumors about Stalmer, but perhaps also a lot of explanations, if these rumors are proven true, as to why Stalmer is so obsessed with Project Ukraine. Perhaps there's something in all of this. There is, if you believe these rumors, there seems to be a reason why Stalmer's property was targeted by this 21-year-old Ukrainian, as the New York Times alleges in their coverage of this story. Stalmer's in trouble, man. Stalmer is in big time trouble. Professionally, personally, not looking good for 008. So let's do a clown world and we'll wrap this video up. And we'll go back to the European Political Community Forum, or the European Clown Posse Forum, or the European Posse Clown Show, whatever you want to call it, that took place in Albania. And yesterday we had the video of the Prime Minister of Albania on his knees, as Giorgia Meloni got out of the car and approached him. From what I understand, the Albanian Prime Minister is an actor as well. They're all actors. They're all actors. But he was also, we have the video now of him holding hands with Macron at this event as well. He was guiding Macron to the media, so he took him by the hand and walked Macron to the media. Probably not a good idea to take the hand of world leaders. I don't think that's the right protocol at these events. You want to kind of show them, maybe pat them on the back, man or woman, doesn't matter. Pat them on the back and say, please, sir or madam, after you, so we can speak to the media. Taking them by the hand, like holding them by the hand, I think is a bit too personal for these types of formal high-level summits, if you want to call this summit high-level. So that was an interesting video out of Albania. And also out of Albania, we had Macron approaching Erdogan. And it looks like Macron tried to display his dominance over the leader of Turkey, shaking his hand, grabbing his hand, and then looking to put his other hand on top of Erdogan's hand so that Macron can display his manly dominance over Erdogan. And Erdogan, being a very experienced politician, understood exactly what Macron was looking to do. And he grabbed Macron by the finger, and he did not let Macron's finger go. And boy, did Macron look silly. He tried to play the dominant, the alpha. Macron wanted to show that he was the alpha Macron, and Erdogan made him look like the submissive beta in all of this. So anyway, that's the video, everybody. It's good to be under the shade of this tree. My God, I'm melting, I know. The Duran.locals.com. I hope you enjoyed the walk, though. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch like what I am wearing in this video update. Maybe if you're lucky enough, you can live up there. Man, did that look like a nice neighborhood. All right, I will see everybody tomorrow. The link to the Duran shop is in the description box down below. Take care.